Hello my warriors, welcome to a video, a story time video. Now I know you're looking like, okay, we can't even see her. That is the point. This is gonna be sort of like maybe possibly an emotional video. So I would rather you not see me get emotional. And I had just said, let me just run to Walmart, get me a Lunchable and some grapes. That's what I had taste for. Because earlier I did brunch at Golden Corral, me, my boyfriend, and my oldest daughter. So I'm kind of not really hungry. I just need a little bit to eat, and that's what I wanted. So I am going to begin this video. And like I said, it's dark, and it's so weird because when I have it on pause, you can see me clearly, but when I have it, recording, you can't see me at all. Just a little bit. But I will be eating grapes, and I am going to be eating a Lunchable. And if you hear my daughter half asleep, she's still with me, but she went to sleep, so I know she's gonna wake up and say, why are we still here? But that's life. So this story took place back in I don't want to have to remember the date, so let's say when I was 4 years old, because if I tell you too much you'll know my age, but I probably done told my age on the previous video. But I was about 4 years old, and normally my teacher would come pick me up for school. We didn't have Head Start back then, or pre-K or anything like that. To my knowledge, we didn't have that back then. I was just a smart little girl because I learned so much, because I was always in probably a class that I shouldn't have been in, and that's why I learned so much. But this particular day, I don't know if my granny had to go to work, because it's my granny. You're gonna hear me say granny. I don't think she had to go to work. I just think she took the day off with me because my mom was at work, and I think my dad was at work. At this time, my mom was young. She was a teen mom, and she was still living with my granny, and I think my dad was still living with his mom. I'm not sure, but I think. Now, like I said, the daycare, or not the daycare, I'm sorry, my teacher did not come and get me. So I was sort of in like daycare slash school. That's what it was, a daycare and a school together. So I know I was really, really smart during that time because I wasn't in the daycare part of it. I was with, I think, the first graders or kindergartners. I'm sorry, the kindergartens. So I wasn't supposed to go to school. So my granny was home babysitting me. She had a mulberry tree in the back of her yard, and we were picking mulberries. She always made this mulberry doobie, which is amazing. So she was doing the mulberries, and we picked them. We were sitting on the bench, and I kept saying, Granny, I want to go to school. Granny, I want to go to school. My friend's going to miss me. Granny, I want to go to school. And I kept saying it. She said, you know what, let me take this girl to school because she's going to drive me insane. So Granny took me to school. I'm going to say that school was about, let's say 10 to 15 minutes from the house. I'm going to say maybe 10, because right now I know where that school is. Not, it's still there, the building, but it's something else. So she dropped me off at daycare, and then she went back, or school, and then she went back home. So I remember we was playing this game where we have little sticks. I can't describe the stick, but it was like the size of a dime. And it was a weird stick where if you put your hands, it was a stick that looked similar to an aloe plant. So I don't know what type of, plant that was, but it was the size of a dime. So the key thing is I had to give the stick, go up the ladder, and which was the slide. So that's like a ladder. So I go up the slide and I give the person at the top of the slide my stick like it was money. So I got on the top of the ladder, I keep saying ladder. I went up the slide and I sat down to go down the slide. Now, as I sat down to go down the slide, there was a young boy at the bottom of the slide. He had a stick in his hand, the same type of stick. So what ended up happening was I was coming down the slide and the stick he had in his hand was coming up the slide. So out of nowhere, the stick, this is a little sensitive, guys, the stick and my eye, which is this eye, which is left, met at the very same time. So the stick went in and under my eye. So you know how you can lift your eye up, lift your eye down. It went under the bottom of my eyeball. So as I came down the slide, I just fell completely out. I think I was unconscious. So one of the teachers, they noticed something about my eye. So they put like a cold compress on there, hoping that it will help whatever the situation was. They might have thought I might have got something in my eye, like something that could burn my eye. Because I probably complained about my eye. So because I complained, my granny was like, oh my goodness. They called my granny and say, you need to come get her. She's not doing so well. I guess I was complaining about my eye. So when I think back, I just close my eyes and think back. I remember after this happened, it was like I only saw out of the one eye. Maybe I noticed it back then because I was so young and I had 4 years of my life, so I had to use two eyes from baby until 4 years. So what ended up happening was Granny came and got me. She laid me on the couch and she said all of a sudden she started seeing stuff foaming out of my eye. So she grabbed me, took me to, they call it Florida Hospital North, which is now called Advent Health, but this was in Altamont Springs, Florida. And she took me there, and when they did, I guess they had x-rays back then and everything. I think that's when everything started, they start having things to help us. It's much better now than it was then. But they whatever they did, they looked at her and looked at me and they say, listen, we can try to help her, but this location can't do nothing for her. So they put me on a helicopter and they transferred me to Florida Hospital South, they call it, which is Rollins, now called Advent Health. So when I'm assuming that my granny called my mom and my dad and everybody rushed to the hospital, because I was her only child at the time. I do have a brother that's under me, 4 years under me, but he wasn't. I'm not sure if he, you know what? She might have, yeah, she did have him. Either I don't know if she was pregnant or she had already had him. Honestly, I don't know the timing because I was so young. But what ended up happening was they told my mom and my dad and my granny that she's not going to make it. We can take the stick out of her head, but she's not going to make it. She come out of this, she's going to be a vegetable. And for those who may be listening to this, I mean, I'm assuming that most of us is all adults, and then it may be some younger adults. But when you become a vegetable, it's like I can't think for myself. I have to have people do everything for me, change my diaper if that's what I had to put on, or the person has to do everything for me. I can't walk. I can't really move. It's like I'm in a coma. If if most people know what that means, but if you're younger, look up the word coma, or you can look up medical terms for a vegetable. So what ended up happening was they did the surgery, and I remember my favorite pastor. I'm going to go in and put his name out. His name was Pastor O.H. Paul. He was pastoring Mount Sinai in the Central Florida area. And I remember he was praying over me. And the weird thing was, I was wondering why I was tied down. Like, you know how they have to restrain you when you are someone who's maybe in prison, and then they bring you to the hospital. So I was restrained. My feet was restrained and my hands were restrained. So it was really crazy. But I remember him praying over me. And then a little later, I guess I start doing better. Because I remember the joke they usually tell me is I would ask for water and a popsicle, because they would give me water or a popsicle. So I was like, I want some water. I want a popsicle. So they said, you only can have one. So I said, okay, I'll take the popsicle. So after I ate the popsicle, then I said, I want some water. And they was like, come on, are you serious? I was like, I want some water. So I was so young and, going through this. But the moral of the story is, you can see I am healthy. I'm not a vegetable. I'm not in a coma. Not plagically, however you say that word. I can't get it out. But I'm none of that. I am a normal person. The only thing that is different for me, when you look at some of my videos, if you ever see my left eye go more to the left, that is why. Because my eye tends to roam without me even knowing. But here in the last, I'm going to say 6 months, not even let's say 6 months, I have noticed that this eye is not doing its best anymore. I was so used to my right eye seeing for everything. Now it's like I know I need to go to the doctor and have them look at my eye just to see what we need to do. Because honestly, guys, I may become totally blind one day. And I've already accepted that. That's why I'm trying to live my best life right now. Because I don't know what could happen to me. So that's why I'm telling you all, whenever you see the videos of mine and you see me looking a little more to the one eye, maybe looking a little more to the left, it's because I do have a lazy eye because of having this situation. Now, when I was in the hospital, I had got so healthy to the point where I would go on a different floor. Now they're more, caution, but I would go on a different floor and I would go to other kids' room. I was just a loving person. I'm still a loving person, but I was just so loving back then. I will do whatever I can. So this story is told to those. If something is whispering in your ear, and it may say, you know what, you need to go left. Go left. Follow what that voice is telling you. Or, when you're a child, they might say, you don't need to go that way. Your mind is saying, don't go that way, go the other way. It is always for a reason. God is whispering to you without you even knowing. If I would have just stayed home that day, it is a possibility that my life that I'm living right now, I believe, would have been totally different, because I would have been able to do a lot of more things than what I can do now. So, yes, I may become blind one day, but you know what? I'm living my best life. So, this story is just to let people know you got to listen to your mind, and sometimes not your heart, but your mind, because, or the voice that's whispering in your ear, because you want to make sure you make the right choice. And there's so many choices out here. So I felt I wanted to share this story with you, because it was one of my near-death experience, because I could have been dead, you know, because the first hospital couldn't do nothing for me. The second hospital said, we're going to give it a try because we have more quality equipment now than they had at the other hospital, because the other hospital was first. This was a newly built hospital. I don't even think it was been in effect for maybe a year or two, maybe. So it was newly built hospital. I know I haven't ate any of my food because I'm telling the story. But I know y'all can't really see me. Even if I come closer, you really couldn't see me. But I just wanted to tell this story because it may be able to help someone that, may be going through whatever. So I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to hear more story times, give this video a thumbs up. I don't know if you can see my thumb, but a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification button to be notified of upcoming videos of mine, as well as share it, because somebody might need to hear this, because I'm all about helping someone, and I'm all about, telling the story. So if anyone has a story that they would like me to tell, all you have to do is leave a comment and we'll figure out what's the best way to tell your story. So thanks for watching. Until we meet again. Later. And I know you can't see me doing my little finger, my little hand thing, but that's all good. But later, guys. Until the next time.